my channel. So if you're new here, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, I did just want to say this. If y'all have any questions about anything that I address in these videos, or just in general about like what I'm going through or the dynamics, y'all can leave them under the videos, and I will either answer them via a TikTok or I will answer them in the video if they're like kind of drawn out or like super important topics. With that being said, follow me on TikTok, follow me on IG, and yes, y'all can also follow me on Facebook. I will have each of those names that you can find me at in my description box. But yeah, I know y'all. I told y'all the next video we'll get into the tea. But y'all, I didn't know the next video would be so long from the last one. But your girl was sick for 2 weeks, and then your girl started a new job, and then I was sick for 2 weeks, and then it was just Thanksgiving. Um, and baby, the tea's hot. It's not. It's gonna have to be like a two-part video, and I'm gonna have to sit down and like really get into it with y'all because but what we're gonna talk about today is we're gonna talk about dating post breakup. So I'm gonna get into how I did it, what I did. I'm gonna share a few of those experiences. Um, and we're just gonna talk about where I'm at now and like what type of time I'm on now. So, all right. So we broke up at the top of 2020, I believe. I believe it was 2020. Yes, it was. Well, it wasn't even top. It was like May of 2020. And y'all, I did not know what to expect. What I did know is that I had never been a dater, right? I was in a relationship. I graduated high school. That relationship ended. I started college and no one started. We were there our entire adulthood so far. We got together at like 8. I think we were like 18 and 19. We're 30 now, y'all. I'm 31 now. Yeah. We spent 9.5 exact years together. We actually broke up 6 months to our 10-year anniversary. Um, but anyway, just to get into it and spare the time because I don't want this to be a super long video. When we broke up, I knew that I needed to take time to like go through and heal the emotions that that relationship caused. Good, bad, ugly, and I also didn't want to put anyone else in a dynamic where I wasn't sure what that other person's mental space was. Um, I wasn't sure like if they decided to have irate moments or be ridiculous, which they did. I did not want anyone else to become the target of that other than myself. So I spent about 8 or 9 months kind of just working through those emotions. 4 of those was in a depression. Um, and the rest of us was just kind of working on me and like literally, I wish I still had the notebook. I don't have it with me. Like writing down my bad habits, writing down things that I took from that relationship that I did not want to take in other relationships. Um, Writing down insecurities that I had developed that I'd never had before. And I was determined to work through every single one of those before I bring someone else into the equation. And I would say for the most part that happened. There were some insecurities I did not work through. There were also insecurities I did not know existed until I started dating again. Um, all of which did not come from that relationship. Um, some came from myself, some came from family dynamics. Um, I don't know. It just I realized them and I work on them. Um, so with that being said, about 9 to 10 months in, um, I literally had a talk with myself in my mirror in my bedroom, and I was like, "Are we ready for this?" And I was like, "You you don't you don't you don't even find men attractive right now." Like, and I knew that that was a problem. So I kind of went through, and I literally there was a time when I went on Instagram and I was just scrolling, and I was like, "I'm bound to find a man that's attractive." There are tons of men on Instagram, y'all, and a lot of them look good. So I just scrolled, and then I finally stopped on one, and I was just like, "Oh, he's cute. All right, cool." That wasn't enough for me. But I did log off Instagram because I was like, there's something here that needs to be done. So I was like searching my inner soul, and I was like talking to my friends, and I would like go back to like even men that I have found attractive before, and I would look at them, and I'm like, oh, okay. And then I landed on like two, and I said, ooh, okay. And then I was like, okay, cool. Now I knew that I wasn't really aware of what dating was like in this time frame, right? Um, because dating is so fluid and it changes so much, and it changes from person to person. So I would just listen to my friends that were dating or recently dated or stuff like that, and I literally would just ask them questions. I would be like on Twitter or I would be on Instagram, and I would just listen to horror stories, but I would also listen and look at like couples who are like in love, out loud. And I kind of just took from that, and I also asked them questions, and I was just like, okay, cool. Like, so I had started like responding to some inquiries, some messages, some invites, and I was like, okay. And it started, I think, how everybody's post breakup, like back into the scene started where we were like going to the club. Um, but I realized really quickly that that was not, at least where I live at, gonna work for me. One, because the person that I was healing from always popped up there. Um, but two, that wasn't really what I was looking for. Um, and initially, I wasn't being super intentional with dating. I just wanted to like experience it. Um, so that's what I did. And I went on a few dates. They were cool. Um, I think those were more like get together, link up type situations without any of the adult activity. Um, it was just like, okay, pull up, we can smoke, we can cook, we can eat, we can vibe, we can go, wherever. Okay, cool. And then I decided probably about 11 or 12 months in, I was gonna move to Florida. Um, Florida was different. Um, I will say that putting me in a new space really allowed me a space to flourish. I had a clean slate. I didn't know anybody. No one knew the person that I was healing from, and that was more necessary than I initially thought. Um, so I went to Florida, and prior to going to Florida, I had started conversing with someone, um, and we were just getting to know each other. Everything was cool. This person, um, ooh, never mind. We'll leave that detail out. So eventually, um, I started conversing with a person who was in a less than ideal situation at the time, I would say. So we never were like dating, but we were communicating and like really like getting back into like getting to know each other and like just enjoying each other's life. Um, I did go meet this person, hang out with this person, and that was fun. A lot of great moments, a lot of moments I had never experienced before. Um, yeah, uh, that person was amazing. That person is still a great person. Um, I then met someone who lived in Florida, and we opted to go on a date or two. Um, but it wasn't like it was kind of like a let's go and see how the vibes are type thing. That was fun. That date, and I'm gonna put date in air quotes because whatever. But those interactions taught me a lot because when we went on those, I wasn't aware of date etiquette, I guess. Um, and it kind of caused us to argue a little bit on the date. Um, I went to fill out my wallet, and he was super offended, y'all, and I didn't know why. But he explained it to me, and I explained to him like, hey, we had this conversation. Your girl just, I didn't know. I didn't know no better. Don't fight me. I don't know. So, boom. So then, to make me feel better, I turned around. I treated him to a date. He allowed it. Um, those were fun. After that, I realized that like it wasn't that bad. I then met someone at my job. Y'all don't date nobody at your job. You don't try to date nobody at your job. Don't try to date nobody at your job. Stay away from the men at your job. My Anyway, I met a man at my job. We went out in a group setting a couple of times. We also then went out in a group setting, which consisted of him formally asking me to join him, but as the date. It was cute though. We were like matching colors. I can't put the picture in the video because I got a baby mama now, but he had a baby mama then too. But anyway, yeah, we went out and then probably after that we probably went on 2 or 3 dates. Just him and I. We went to brunch and basketball. We went to the beach, like to the little club and ate chicken wings. Actually, I think we did the club chicken wing joint like 2 or 3 times. Which was then when I found out that he was still. I don't want to lie and say that he was dealing with his baby mama. I don't know, but my friends at work told me that he had a baby mama. Um, so the last time that we linked up, I saw her. She saw him. She beat him up. That was kind of it for us. Um, if you watch this video, sorry sis, I didn't know about it. But he then, after I cut him off, decided to invite me to his son's birthday party as his friend's girlfriend. And I declined the offer because nobody had me at this girl house. You know, you told me she was just his mom. They done must not have ever since then, but we gonna let it be. So then after that, I went away for a funeral, and we were doing so good, like so good. I came home for a funeral. Uh, One of my friends from work called me while I was gone. I wasn't able to answer. Um, I then returned home, to which I returned the call, and that person let me know that he had been adulting with one of the girls at my job that I did not get along with at the time. Um, and I was just confused. I was so confused, and I was like, "Am I doing this wrong?" Like, so I was saying, "No," and I'm talking to my friends, and I'm like, "What am I?" It wasn't friends that knew him because I didn't want there to be anybody. Um, and I came to the conclusion I wasn't doing it wrong. It just wasn't happening the way that it was supposed to happen. Um, so then I confronted him, and we almost got into a disqualification at work. Um, so that was the end of that. After that, I really I started dating someone. Dating someone? Or who dating? I don't know. We were dating. We weren't dating. We were just casually like hanging out together. On a regular basis. And I really got into a space where I really started to flourish and softness with this person. Um, and that was for like a while. That was a thing. That person wasn't, in my opinion, if you see this is my opinion. That person was not ready to be dating. That person shouldn't have been venturing out the way that we were venturing out. That person should have been healing from the things that hurt him. And I think that because he did not unintentionally, he continued to hurt me. So I made the choice to also disconnect that situation. After that situation, a part of me felt like I was doing something wrong, even though it didn't appear that way. So I sat down. Wow, look ashy. And I told myself in that moment I was only going to move intentionally moving forward. I did not want to gain another single emotion for a person who meant me no good. Um, and I went through my phone that day and I deleted about 30 numbers, not even all of which I was dating. Some of them were old friends, some of them were family. And I just didn't want anybody around me who didn't mean me any good. Um, it was in that moment that I started being super intentional. And I started like requiring like clear cut dynamics. I started like I started genuinely living with the if he wanted to, he would mindset. And that's when it comes to everybody, family, friends, people I'm dating. Um, so I went from like juice with the roster to like juice barely talk to anybody, and it was so lonely, y'all. Like literally, the first couple months was like really boring. Um, because I at that point I had gotten so used to just being able to have my way. And I don't mean have my way in like a super like selfish way, but like I had got to a point where I wasn't lying about what I was doing, where I was at, any of those things, and I still was getting exactly what I intended to get from these men, and none of them were like physical things. Um, because I had been honest about what I was doing and how I was maneuvering. When it came to dating, I wasn't having those problems. What do I always tell y'all? It's only play if you can tell the truth and still get your way. Sorry, fellas. But so anyway, so from then on, I have just kind of been super intentional, and I've been like really establishing great like conversations before there's like dates or anything like that. So needless to say, the number of dates that I've been going on has went down a lot. That's on my eye, but it's went down a lot, which is okay. But I do feel like when I go on dates now, or I'm like entertaining dynamics, they're very wholesome. They're very pure. They're like very intense interactions. Um, and I'm not feeling obligated to feel a way about a man that I don't feel a way about. I do hate having the conversation of why I'm not familiar with dating, and I also think there are a lot of people who are dating that shouldn't be dating. Um, so that's like a downside to that for me. I think there are a lot of men and women. I don't date women, so I can't really speak for them, but I'm sure they exist who are not dating intentionally, and I hate that the lines get crossed so quickly. Um, because it's like, yeah, I want to experience fun, but I also want to experience intentionality. And that has been one of the hardest things to maneuver, I think. Um, is making sure that regardless of how good somebody looks, how much I have in common, how much fun y'all have, that y'all are dating intentionally and with a purpose. I'm not mad at people who don't. Actually, if you, I think that if you're not ready to date intentionally, you shouldn't. Um, I don't believe in dating for recreation. I would like to be somebody's wife. I think had I become single sooner, that would have been fun. I'm 31. I became single when I was 29, 28, something like that. And I knew then that though that dynamic did not work and I thought that we would get married, there is a person out there for me, and I just need to find who it is. And I'm not going to find it in a person who's dating for recreation because their intentional dating boundaries are not in place. Um, so with that being said, because I said I don't want to be a long video, dating has been interesting. Dating has been complicated. Dating has been fun. Dating lately has been intentional. Um, Dating lately has been kind of lonely. Um, I'm okay with that though. I think that whenever I'm in the place to where my whomever is there, I think that the door will open up and God will see fit for me to walk through that door. So for now, I'm here. I'm still dating. I haven't given up. I'm much more intentional. I'm much more clear. I love that I know I went through that stage where I was like learning what I like, what I tolerate, what I don't tolerate, because I don't feel like people learn that enough about themselves when they get back into dating. So with that being said, we're gonna wrap this video up. And I don't know, y'all. I don't know if it'll be the next video because I still have two more simpler videos I could film. Um, before we get into the tea, but I promise you, I'm gonna give it to y'all. Because the girl's been going through it. I have about 100 clearly. But yeah, so comment on this video. Let me know if you have questions. If you have suggestions for intentional dating only, also leave those below because that's still a process that I'm learning. So I'm open to suggestions. If you have questions, like I said, let me know. Um, follow my social media. Bye, y'all.